Welcome to Inside Pitch. I'm Jeff Gordon, the Post-Dispatch, joined by columnist Lynn Worthy, the Post-Dispatch. Well, Lynn, last time we shot a video, the pitching staff was trying to recover from a tough trip to Boston and Fenway Park. But recover, the pitching staff did. The rotation had a good spin all the way through. Cardinals have to feel better about what they saw.
Yeah. I mean, I start with Andre Palante just because he's been there probably the most consistent pitcher all season. ERA under 3, hasn't had a loss yet. And I think he even had one start that was kind of cut short by a rain delay, if I remember right. So he may have been able to give him more in that one, but wasn't able to just by circumstance. Then you had Eric Fedde, who didn't give up a hit in one of his outings, and obviously they went to the bullpen because early in the season and pitch count and everything. So and even Michaelis, who got battered around in Boston, had a bounce back. I don't think anybody thinks he's a world beater, but he bounced back, and he's an innings eater, and they need him to be able to give them starts.
Now you see the team go to a 6-man rotation. This was the plan in the spring. Steven Matz has been building up for that as being the backside guy, the innings guy in the bullpen. Now he steps in the rotation. That's interesting because it does allow the team to pace guys and make sure they're better in better shape come July and August. But, Lynn, there's not a lot of protection for innings in that bullpen. Matz was your innings protection. Now he's in the rotation. How are they going to get through this?
Yeah, I mean, you got to count on starts going, fairly deep on a regular basis, which you haven't necessarily seen so far. And that includes Matz, who's going to have to build up. So you got a guy who's going to have to build up, who you're going to have to maybe be able to push him to give you deep into the games. He was the guy who was going to be the stopgap when you didn't have guys going deep in the game, so now you don't have that. The fact that you'll have an extra day of rest maybe helps you out a little bit so that guys, if you need to push them an extra inning, they're going to get an extra day to recover. But you need guys in that bullpen to step up, and there's been some shaky spots. They've been cycling through a couple of guys here now. Sent Roycroft down and Fernandez, who was a stud for them last year and was really a darling of their pitching department, and things that the strides he made as a Rule 5 guy last year has had some bumps in the road. So the bullpen, this is going to put pressure on the bullpen. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
And speaking of pressure, there's also pressure on organizational depth. Right now, Michael McGreevy is it. He's doing well at Memphis, certainly showed well in the spring. He is available to come in as a long man or a starter if there's an injury. But, Lynn, go beyond him. There's been injuries that hit the organization, both at Memphis and down at Springfield. And there doesn't seem to be a lot lined up behind the guys who are here now besides McGreevy.
Yeah, and that lack of depth is the reason that McGreevy is down there, because he basically is the depth. Had they had more health even in spring training, if you had Zach Thompson, if you had Drew Rom, even just as options, then maybe you can make the case McGreevy needs to be in the rotation. Without those guys as experienced options, McGreevy is the only guy. And then behind that, now you've got injuries. Tink Hence, when you talk pitching prospects, Connor Jerpy, who was a high draft pick a couple years ago, and then Quinn Matthews, who was minor league pitcher of the year, all on the injured list right now. So there's really not many options beyond Michael McGreevy.
Well, you can always call Lance Lynn. Now, he says he's done, and he wanted $8 million, and people wanted to give him $4 million if he'd show up in June. I don't know that he's going to change his mind, but he's not too far away. He can make the drive in if he needs to. So we'll see how the Cardinals handle this situation going forward. Some good news, some concerning news. That's the way it goes in a 162-game season. Stay tuned to us all season for these videos, Inside Pitch, and all the other cool stuff we do on STLtoday.com. That is the digital edition of the Post-Dispatch. Until next time, for Lynn Worthy, I'm Jeff Gordon. See ya.